yours.
Anyway.
Hey, man, putting this in your stomach.
Oh, I'll be back. Can I tell y'all quick?
They'd kill us.
I should tell y'all a story. Well, I'm gonna tell it to y'all anyway. When I was a kid, I was at El Torito, right?
End of story.
It should be. But it's one of those rare times when it was my mom and my dad there at the same time. This is before the divorce and everything from them. And we went to El Torito. I had got my, what do you want, enchiladas with rice and beans. So I got the chicken enchiladas, rice and beans. And as a kid, that was my get down. Yeah. So I got the enchiladas with the rice and beans. And in my rice, there was a whole staple in my rice. I didn't eat it. My mom was giving them the business. Could have sued. Could have did everything. Moms didn't do that. Moms didn't believe in that. She didn't believe in the whole suing thing and stuff. But you know how much money I could have got?
At least $20.
No. Because I was a kid, and if I would have ate that, and it went down my throat and it didn't eat something down, it would have been like, put it over. It's a Ramsey's for it.
It would have been how the kids say GG's.
Man, they tried to get that out there so fast. And then they thought it was racially motivated. Because at the time they didn't pull up to El Torito like that. The only other time I went to El Torito was to the El Torito out in Lakewood back in the day. They used to have like a little dance club on Friday and Saturday. Yeah. They would have like a little dance club. That was the only time I would pull up there. I would never get no food over there anymore. Any of that stuff. I would pull up there to the club with them. That's good eating though. That's good eating.
So anyway, let's get us talking.
Yeah, we talking. We just popping. This boy is shining. I should have worn my shine today. I didn't think he was gonna be on shine time.
So introduce us.
Fatty 1 and Fatty 2.
Okay,
There used to be a Fatty 3, but they hate it.
Lane Pipe of the PVC Crew. Y'all know how we get down. Paul, Vic, and Cam. We back at it. You know, we doing what we do. Y'all see us on the sidelines. If y'all see us, we outside today.
Not instigating.
I ain't telling y'all where we at, but we outside today. You know, sometimes you gotta pop out. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show people. It's one of those times we just on the pop out. It's not for anything else, because we had to make a little bit of a road trip, so we were like, you know, we might as well make the most of it. Get the road trip, sit down, get some topics off. We're gonna definitely get a few topics off the ground or whatnot while we're here.
Oh, so
But before we do that, before we do all that,
I have to do with the special announcements.
I know. This man want to get in. He always want to get his sign off. So you know how we do it right around this time. Paul, say what's up to the people. You know how we do.
What's up, people tuning in, PVC Podcast Crew. I just want to take this time to give a special shout out to one of my closest homeboys from high school, Big Derek Johnson, man. Much love and respect, brother. Thank you to subscribing to the channel, man, and the love and support. And then when you get them packages ready, let me know. And then one of these days, we'll get you on a podcast and sit down and talk to us.
Indeed. What do you got for show?
But besides all that, I'm going to pass it to my boy Vic. Vic over here, good. Vic, say what's up to the people.
Hey, let that man get his food down real quick.
It's delicious, but messy.
Facts. It is delicious. Let that man work.
But anyway, good morning, everyone. PVC Podcast Crew here. As you can see, we're all enjoying a nice little breakfast that is probably a little too high in calories. But beside all of that, we do hope you enjoyed today's episode. Unconventional as it is, as Cam said, we are out and about today. Area will not be disclosed for safety reasons.
I ain't scared. I ain't scared of y'all. I ain't scared of y'all. You know how did Bernie Mac say?
I ain't scared of you.
We'll give you a hint. We're by a Nissan.
Don't get that man started about Nissan.
We ain't talking about Nissans and stuff today.
And that's all you're going to get from us. But beside all that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the PVC Podcast Crew. As always, we want to thank you for joining us this week. We want to thank all our subscribers. We want to thank all our haters.
Yep.
We want to thank all our people who are lukewarm about us. We want to thank all our viewers. We want to thank all our friends and our enemies. And our friends who pretend to be enemies. And our enemies who pretend to be friends.
Facts.
We want to thank all of you. Because regardless of you standing with us, you're still with us. So, as always, if you're with us, why don't you like the video? And remember, you don't have to like the video
to like the video. Facts.
So, let us start in earnest here while we clog our arteries. Cameron?
Hold on.
I know.
This is what happens when you outside. This is what happens when you outside, boy. Y'all know how it is. Cam, a.k.a. Nerd Boy Fresh. Follow me on the gram and all that good stuff, man. We are definitely outside, but since we're here, you know, we grabbing some food. Y'all can actually see kind of the menu. If y'all kind of recognize the menu, then y'all kind of know where we at. But anyway, since we on some food real quick, what y'all boys eating? I know what that man's knocking out, but I'll let him talk about it. What you eating?
Just a regular corner side of burrito. You know, corner side of burrito right here. You know, it's really delicious though. You know, not too seasoned, but you know, that's how it's supposed to be. You know, a little cilantro, a little onions and stuff like that. Extra cheese, you know. But besides that, it's real good, real good. I'll highly recommend this place.
Well, I, on the other hand, it's mostly gone now, but what I'm eating here is a chilaquiles torta. Right? Basically, if you don't know what chilaquiles is, it's tortillas, red or green sauce, eggs, and meat. Typically, it's on a plate. But here, they put it between bread and call it a sandwich. And it's a good sandwich. I've had my fill, it's very filling. But I would highly recommend coming here. Only $18. I wouldn't come here every day, but every other week I would.
No, it's good though. I mean, that torta looked really good. I ain't gonna front.
But Cameron, I spilled my guts, Paul spilled his. Now watch
Oh no, I did the same thing, you know. Apparently we went twinsies on the food shot, so me and Paul both had the carne asada burrito. Them boys went twinsies trying to have a coconut smile. But you know, the only time the way I test spots out is by some of the unique stuff that some certain places do. So like I said, if you go to a spot and they make horchata, try the horchata. Because it tells you if they're really good at what they do or not. Because there's certain things that it's like certain drinks like horchata, they're fairly easy to make, but they're easier to mess up, to be honest with you. So you get a good gauge of, oh, if they mess up a horchata, what else are y'all messing up? But in this instance, the horchata is good. The carne asada burrito is good, like my boy said. That torta, next time we do pull up on the side of town, I am going to rock with that torta. That did look real official. That boy rocked it with we go with the red sauce or the green sauce?
Red.
Yeah, you gotta go red sauce. I go red sauce. No, that's the only way to do it. Red sauce is good. Red sauce
for burritos.
Facts. Green burrito.
I missed that place.
I was just about to say. Now the one.
R.I.P.
Now shout out to the Green Burrito before they got bought out by Carl Jr.
And then proceeded to do nothing with it.
I know. But they have one of the best things spoken, which was the Big Ed Burrito. That Big Ed Burrito was, what was it, 3.5 pounds.
But very cheap though. That's why it's so good. It was so cheap to buy.
No, it was like, man, that was the best thing smoking, man. They used to have one out in, for people in California, out in Hawaiian Gardens, California. They used to have like a Big Ed Burrito right there. I forgot what they have, Is it Taco San Pedro? Taco San Pedro right now?
Taco San Pedro and Taco Factory.
Yeah, Taco Factory. They're both, and I don't know why they got them both side by side with each other.
But Taco Factory is delicious.
Taco Factory is cool, and Taco San Pedro is a classic. And anybody who's been out on that side of town would know. You pull up to either one, you're gonna be just right.
That's a fact.
Anyway, what we talking about today? What y'all want to talk about? I'll let y'all get the first topic off.
I want to talk about the incident that happened with that little boy in the trash. They found in the trash dumpster out in Panama City. It was on the news. I think he was about 6 or 7 years old.
And they found him in a trash can in Panama City?
Yeah.
I didn't hear nothing about that.
It was on big news and stuff. So they did make a couple of arrests and stuff. But my thing is, shouldn't no kid go through stuff like that, especially no 6-year-old. But we have crazy people.
But they were in Panama City.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
In like Panama City, Panama.
Well, okay,
yeah.
So for real.
So a different country. I just want clarification.
Panama. I think it was
because
Panama
in different
City.
countries, is different rules.
Different
stuff pop off in different parts of the world.
Real quick. For those who don't know what you're talking about, give a little elaboration.
So it was a big story on the news about they found I think the kid was like 6 or 7. He was found dead in the trash dumpster outside. Long story short, I didn't get all the full details on how the incident happened, but apparently somebody in a apartment complex. Long story short, they did make some arrests and stuff like that. So it's just a sad thing to hear about a young man in his prime, not even reached almost age of 10, they go out like that, stuff like that.
So it's crazy. So I got questions because I don't know much about the story. Maybe I can elaborate. So was he native to Panama City? Meaning that was he like?
He was Hispanic.
Yeah, Hispanic, born and bred, or Panamanian.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was that.
I think he was Hispanic.
I don't know if because see, what people don't understand and why I make it a point, because just because they're living in Panama, they may not mean that he was born and raised. He could be in Panama City, Panama, and maybe live in Chile, or maybe was born in Chile, or born in Brazil, or born in Mexico, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, what happens is when people they were born in one area, even though they may speak the language, but when they go to a different part of the world, people in different countries treat foreigners completely different than what we tend to do out here. So I think one of the things that when you go out, like when we see things in America, the problem that we have is that we see that, we kind of we ingratiate everybody coming to America because we're used to it. Mm-hmm. Versus when you go to other countries, they don't like a lot of people pulling up to other countries like that.
That's anywhere you go, even if you go into like a city or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
It happens even in America.
Go ahead.
Dang, right now, if all three of us were to go pull up in Chicago, we're going to be on the news. Mm-hmm. Not for good reasons.
And that's one thing, I do hate about that, because it's like when you are out of towner person, you don't know certain rules and regulations about certain places and culture. Everybody's vibe is different. If that makes sense. So it's like, we can, like right now, we could be walking down the street right now. You can't, we don't know, we can't tell how people interaction is. Most of the time they won't even say, hey, how you doing? How's your day?
True.
God bless you and stuff like that.
True. Because you're not going to get that typically. Yeah. Especially when you're in an area that is not familiar with that. I'm going to come back to that to where we are now, but you reminded me of a different story that happened across the weekend that I saw. So there was this lady. She's mixed. So she was born in Russia. I don't know if her mom was Russian and her dad was black, or vice versa. I don't know which one of the two it is, but I believe it was. Okay. I believe it was that. She was mixed. But she was literally born in Russia. She came across, and she came to the U.S. Wanted to get, because maybe her dad or whatever maybe was from the U.S. And so she came out here. But she was always getting harassed because she was a basic, she was a person who looks black, but speaks Russian. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like fluent Russian. So she was getting harassed and stuff. So she was like, well, I'm going to leave and go back to my native at home because I'm getting harassed in the U.S. So she went and flew back home. She gets back home to Russia, and then, you know, she was against some neighbors who, like, because, you know, Russian people who are not mixed, they look as white as can be. Like, I mean, this, like, for real. She speaks fluent Russian. She got there. The neighbors basically saw that she was black, and said they didn't care that she was born in Russia. The neighbors literally jumped her. The husband and the wife jumped her, beat her up, almost took everything from her, and basically said, "Get out of here, you black bee." Literally. Didn't matter that she was born in Russia. Just because she was mixed, they put the mix on her. And if you see it on social media, her face is all busted up and everything. And she was like, yo, I left the US to leave the type of stuff that just happened to me over here. So she got the same treatment in the US and the same treatment from Russia. And she's basically a part of it. But now she's trying to get back here and deal with it being out here. She's like, look, I don't want to risk my life and limb from my own neighbors who just jumped me literally on the strength of being black. But that's what's different between being in different countries and here. Apparently, we're a little bit too open about, you know, who we allowed. Or maybe it's that. Or maybe we're just to the point where it's like, yo, we try to incorporate as many people into our lives, no matter what their background and stuff is from. But in either event, you know, getting beat up for the cause should never be an answer. I don't care what that looks like.
I don't know if you've heard this phrase or not. The phrase "no home for hybrids," basically, where it doesn't matter what the mix is, but no matter what, the person who's mixed is typically speaking going to face more problems than someone who's not, no matter where they go. I would say they would least likely face problems here in America, depending where they go, but especially their home country, right? So I remember watching something about life in Japan. And, you know, in Japan, there's a few mixed black people out there, of course, mixed with Japanese, right? It ain't easy for them out there. It is not easy for them out here, and it's not like they can go to America or wherever their home country's from, because it'd be even harder out there. The only place in the world, really, that can get away with, not like it's a crime or anything, but have a livable life as a mixed race person is here in America. Now, none of us here are mixed, right? Well, what I'm trying to say is,
I get what you, no, I see your point. I get what you,
Black community school.
No,
turn off the camera.
No, I'm prefer what they call nigmas. You know what that means. But see, right
with
there.
Cam, it was black and black.
But see, right there, because you made a valid point though, Big. Because you can't, even if you mix, you know, race, in certain places they don't allow it. They don't like it. No. Especially because they'll make an argument, well, if you're not fully us, then what are you doing? And that goes to show, even with, you know, certain relationships we have with certain countries and stuff. It's like, you know, okay, we know you guys from the U.S., but if you come over here, the whole rules is totally different. Especially when you go to like Paris, France, or you go to Germany and stuff like that. You can't get away with certain things, get away with out here and over there. Because you see what happened. Remember happened with Brittany Griner that one time when she went over there and caught that case.
But she was on some.
Well, that was drugs.
It was two different things.
Yeah. But you know, my point being is that, you know, stuff takes very seriously, and you know, but to a degree, you know, if you're not coming over there just to cause, you're just coming over there just to say, oh well, you know, I just want to learn, you know, certain elements and atmosphere and stuff like that to, you know, to better myself, or, you know, not even just saying, you know, I'm just certain, you know, mixed race, you know, you shouldn't judge a book by a cover. Something.
I will say this, is that if you're moving somewhere with the idea and hopes of escaping hatred and bigotry, you're going to be very disappointed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's literally everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Every nation, every town, every city, and truthfully, every person, to a degree, I would say, where it may not be at the forefront of their mind, it may not even come to mind, but people may be naturally bothered by the idea. Like, for instance, with me, I don't consider myself Mexican American, I'm simply American.
Yep.
Right? I don't speak Spanish, I didn't grow up in a Mexican household, I'm simply American. But I am clearly of Mexican descent. Right? I would get a whole lot of smoke if I were to go to Mexico and they suddenly hear me talk and I would speak a little Spanish. They would say, well, you should be ashamed.
Has that ever been a problem for you? Like,
not for a long time, no. It's always been the whole thing that I don't speak Spanish. I refuse to speak it at this point. But I have nothing against the language, but I have a problem with it being expected of me to speak it.
That's what I mean,
I'm glad you said that.
I'm gonna spin the block to the conversation, but I want you to address that part.
Right.
So why do you feel that it's expected? And why is your take that I'm not going to do it no matter what people say? Because I know that hearing that, I know that your parents, your grandparents and stuff, they would flip their way if they heard that. Well, I ain't going to speak that, even though you're native, you know, native Mexico. They would flip their way because you ain't going to speak a lick of Spanish.
Yeah, so for my family tree, from what we can tell, we originated from Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
We spread it out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, to get back on track, what was the question again?
So why is it a choice for you?
Oh, why don't I speak it?
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay,
know,
well,
why the blatant like? Because it wasn't the fact of like I'm not, you know, you basically said I refuse to speak it, like a blatant like
because,
almost defiant. Not to say it's defiant, but
no, you're right. You wouldn't be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong saying that because of the expectation, or the presumption of, right? Not everyone anymore, but still, it was always kind of there. And what always irritated me about it is, while I can see it being useful, it's another language. What language is that sign?
It isn't English with some, but it has some Spanish in it.
But what are the big letters?
Yeah, that's a good. I'm glad you use that as a.
What language is this menu? Naturally, my priority and my prerogative is going to be American English.
Exactly.
Now, if I lived somewhere else where it was, say, French, Spanish, Chinese, whatever, then that would be my primary language. The point is, though, is Spanish is not the dominant language here in America. It's a common language, but not the dominant one.
Yeah.
Because when you walk into a Walmart, there's not a whole lot of signs that have Spanish on them.
That's true. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Now, again,
I just want your take.
Yeah, now, again, I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't learn Spanish. I'm not saying you shouldn't speak Spanish. No, you're free to do that. But I don't like it when there's an expectation to. Especially when the native language, and there are people who say America doesn't have a native language, but the native language here is English.
Mm-hmm.
It's how everyone talks. It's what everything's written in. It's what your kids are taught to write in school.
Agreed.
You know.
I'll give you all
It's English. And I'm perfectly happy speaking the language of the greatest nation on the planet.
No, I agree with that.
But can I ask you one question real quick before? Sure. Would you want to learn it or no?
You know, I'm sure in time I'll probably give it a shot. I see no reason not to.
That's all. Yeah.
It was just for the longest time. Well, why don't you? Well, why should I?
Yeah.
Which was always just really annoying. I don't get irritated if someone speaks Spanish too. That's fine, right? But I do have a problem if they get mad that I don't say it back. To where if they talk to me in Spanish and I respond in English, and they make like a face or something, yeah, that's their problem.
Yeah, and I've seen that happen before. Because one other good friend of mine said, you know, I speak it, but I don't like speaking it, but I understand it. But if I reply to you in a different language, you shouldn't get upset about it. You know, I understand what you're coming from, but necessarily you're not going to pressure me. Because I've seen that happen at the workplace before.
I've seen that happen all over. So I got two different takes. So one take is exactly like what you feel like. If wherever you are, you should be able to speak that language wherever you are. But I remember when that, like for me, when I was with my ex, she was born in the U.S., but her mom is from Mexico, so she was native Mexican and stuff. And so, because I was with her, it gave me the reason to, at the very least, understand. Yeah, my bad. It gave me the very least to understand why, you know, I should learn that language if I'm choosing to be with her, to ingratiate myself with her. So I understand that, but I think that's a byproduct of being in the U.S. versus being in other countries. So traveling to other countries, I've been to Mexico, I've been to other countries, of course. So when traveling to other countries, I know what that looks like. I know me going into another country, no matter what I look like, I'm a foreigner to them. I wasn't born like them, I don't look like them, but I know people who are in French, who look dead like me, who speaks fluent French, and still get looked at crazy.
I got a question for you.
I'm not curious about the idea of a French camera.
Oh no, you ain't gonna get that. I said the best you get of me, is Diet Coca Hood. That's the best you get of me.
But you just said something, and I'm kind of curious on that. Why is it that when you in a interracial relationship, that always happens? Because I've seen that happen before. It's like, okay, if you're gonna be with me, you should be able to speak to certain ethnic.
Because you gotta understand, it's not so. It's bigger than just y'all two. Yeah. Now you could make it just y'all two, but here's at some point. At some point, I'm going to have to meet her family. At some point, I'm going to have to meet, you know, interact with moms who don't speak a language.
But then, right there, what you just said too, once that happens, because certain people get offended if you do speak that language too.
So here's the difference. It's not the fact. No.
Yeah.
No. But see, they're going to.
Point taken.
No.
Point taken.
They're going to. You gotta remember, a lot of people are going to hate that fact. Because it's just you chose different, or no, more importantly, she chose different.
Yeah.
She could have chose anybody who she wanted to be with, but she wanted to rock with me for that period of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But because she chose me, I knew what that looked like when it comes to my family, and she knew what that looked like when it comes to her family. It's the same way with my ex-wife and me. Same dynamic. She was white. I'm black. Same literal dynamic. Just because we speak the same language.
I like how you said it.
No, but I have to. I have to preface that because it was going to my second point that I'm gonna get to. So with us two, it was a similar dynamic. Just because we spoke the same language, that doesn't mean that there was complete differences. That doesn't mean that my mom and my family 100% rock with her. They didn't rock with. They literally.
Shut up.
No. Good question. Some of my family didn't rock with her strictly on the strength that she was white. Some of her family didn't rock with me simply on the strength that I was black. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter that I was making $150K at the time. It didn't matter what I was doing. All that mattered to them was you black, he white. And so it basically this one here. This one here. And this one here. But that's the only thing that mattered to them. It didn't matter. But see, what I always say is a lot of but the point being is, everybody, when people talk about like the dynamics of relationships, especially when it comes to interracial dating and all that stuff, people always talk about the other stuff, but they don't always talk about the fundamental thing. What does it look like to everybody else? But
as a shame is that you have to consider.
No, but you don't. You do. But you don't. No, you do. But
it's
you
bad.
don't. You
But
never
you
have to consider that.
you shouldn't.
Because if you rock with a female and she rocks with you, it doesn't matter where she's from or what she looks like. If you like her for her communication, physical attraction, all that stuff, and y'all think y'all gonna build something with each other, then y'all rock with her. Period. You don't have to worry about that.
No,
they're gonna, because guess what? They're going to hate no matter what.
Well, I'm not saying that should stop you.
Hate no matter what.
No, I'm not saying that should ever stop you. No. I mean, if you two are hooked together, then stay hooked together.
Right.
I mean, it's like you always said. What builds a relationship?
Communication, trust, and physical attraction. And you gotta have all three. So if that person who is giving you all the things that you were looking for, and it so happens to be of a different race, so it be. But you gotta understand, like even with the so it be, other people aren't going to see it like that. But you gotta be okay with it.
Yeah.
I was okay with it. Me being okay with it allowed me to have my two kids that I have now. Shout out to both of them. Shout out to both of them. Simple. Doesn't matter that the relationship it ended in divorce. That wasn't because of the outside stuff. It was. I'm gonna take that back. I'm not taking that back. It was because of outside stuff. Ultimately, yes, because ultimately, throughout everything that happened and transpired, part of what the separation is that ultimately one person, like one part of the family is pulling on one person, the other part of the family is pulling on one person. Ultimately, they try to push a divide to try to separate us, even when we were married and we decided to lock in. But it's okay. I still got the best aspects of it out there. Now, when it comes to my kids, guess what? No matter what my kids do, they are always mixed. They always have to make a decision.
Time out. You a fool for that, nigga. Like, when you make, I got a clear mind.
He's stupid right now.
Just caught it. But he said it. Yeah, that's why I laughed about it. But even with it, because like I told everybody, I did it out of my race. I'm not saying, and a couple of my exes were Hispanic, and those are some of the best times I had with them. But you learn from everybody, and that's where I take consideration of I'm not judgmental. I'm not gonna judge a book by a cover. I don't judge nobody if you did outside of it. Whatever makes you happy, whatever rocks your boat, so be it. But I tell people, just be prepared of going through certain aspirations and trials, because a lot of people, including whoever you be around, whether it's family members or friends, are not gonna like some of them.
They're not gonna like it.
It's just the way it is.
And unfortunately, we live in a world filled with haters. Haters within, haters without. Haters are everywhere. People just like to hate. I don't know why.
That's a fact.
But you shouldn't let hate stop you from having a loving relationship, regardless of their ethnicity. It doesn't matter if they look like you or look different from you. But if they vibe with you, rock on.
I mean, it says in the Bible, we all children of God.
I mean, that's another thing too, is we are all literally descendants from Adam and Eve.
Yep.
Why do you think it's one race on this planet, the human race? I mean, despite Cam, Paul, and I all looking fundamentally out different on the outside, we're all undeniably human beings. You can tell that we both had a mother and a father, in order to be born. My point being is, all of our blood is red, our hearts are all in the same places.
I will hope all our hearts are in the same place. Yeah.
But, 5 fingers.
I know what he meant.
I get what he said.
My point being is we're all human beings, right? And the disgusting thing about hating interracial relationships is that people will genuinely argue that it's wrong, yet such relationships produce healthy human babies. And to say that that's wrong is a horrible flavor of evil. To look at something that produces life and call it wrong is evil.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, my thing is this too, and Cam, you agree with me. You agree with me because you've been in this situation. Like you said, you was married to her or whatever. But people gonna hate on it because they can't do it, or they not gonna rock with it and stuff like that. But to the point I'm trying to make is, as long as you say, you know what, regardless you think, I take everybody's points in consideration, but I'm doing what I'm gonna do, with you, whether you be on my side or not. It's not gonna change my life, my perspective on you. I still got nothing but love and respect you. We still family, we still friends, whether you rock with it or not. That's what certain people misunderstand when they make that certain correction is.
I'm gonna simplify it for you, real simple. Real simple. Kids in the back, take notes. 10, 80, 10. 10, 80, 10. I want y'all to understand this. This is very basic principles, people. 10% of the people is going to love you no matter what. They're going to rock with you. They're going to love you no matter what. 10% of the people is going to hate you no matter what. The 80% is always going to sway one way or another depending on how you interact with them and how you are impactful in their particular lives. So that number could sway one way or another, but it's still ultimately are always going to be in the 80% because that is going to be conditional, if that makes sense. The 10% are going to love you unconditional. The other 10% is going to hate you unconditional. The 80% is going to sway depending on what the conditions are. So the conditions could be, yo, we popping now. We got a movie going. We got a project going. Hilltop Brawl 3. You know what it is. Anyway, but we got stuff popping, so people are going to rock with you, right? Yeah. But there's going to be other people, for the same people that's going to be rocking with you, it's going to be like, I hate that. It's trash. I don't like what you're doing. You're going to get that too. And it's going to be conditional.
And I'll be, and I'll first and second, I'm glad, I gladly will change the perspective of people, analogy of how they feel about certain people. I'd rather them tell me the truth than to be fake. Like just like, it was an episode, and I'm going off course, when I was watching an episode of NXT with John Cena when a dude in the audience yelled out, "Oh, John Cena sucks," and he said it right there. Hey, I value your honesty.
Yeah. Speaking of John Cena, he's the one I wanted to bring up.
Go ahead.
10, 80, 10. I would say he's the most prime example of this.
Yeah,
because okay, like 10% love him no matter what, they love him. 10% hate him no matter what, hate him. It's this 80%. Y'all remember when he apologized to the Chinese?
Yep.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of just crapping on him for it, making fun of him for it, calling him a, Chinese sellout, yellow belly, all that.
Yep.
And then, now after the Peacemaker movies, some time has passed, they've swayed again to where they like it.
Yep.
It's almost like, it's almost like the Chinese stuff never happened.
In the right conditions.
and that's why
you agree. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And that's why I rock with him, because he's not afraid to say that. You can, 9 out of 10, you can hate me or love me. I'm still going to be the same.
John Cena's the same dude who walked on the Oscars award bucket naked. But he's the same. No, we ain't never forget that.
I ain't forget that.
But he's the same dude.
But I give him the
But he's the same
one.
dude who is beloved in the WWE. The same dude who may be hated on Peacemaker and loved in Fast and Furious.
The same
He's
dude
the same
Scooby-Doo?
He's the same dude who's the same dude who dated Nikki Bella and rocking with this Indian girl who was like drop dead gorgeous. This is the same dude.
Yeah.
But people are going, like I said, 10% of the people are going to love him no matter what. They're just blind love. Anytime a John Cena, anything pops on, they rock with him. There's other people, they see John Cena, Cena sucks. You'll get a lot of that, no matter where you are. But you know what he's cool with? He understands, just like everybody should understand. You're not going to please everybody.
To help summarize our message here to your listeners, no matter what, you're gonna have haters. Please don't ever do their job for them.
Yeah, and but don't blatantly give them reasons to hate. Just live your life, live it the way that God intended you to live your life, and everything else is going to fall into place. Just understand that it's not going to be a perfect path.
Amen.
It's not going to be a perfect path, and you're not going to have everybody love you no matter what. Everybody is imperfect.
If there's anything in this life that you should hate first and foremost before you even get out of bed,
It's sin.
is sin. Your sins in particular.
Yep.
My sins in particular, I should hate more than anything. Same with Paul's sins. Anything in this world, we should go to bed cursing on our breath as our own sinfulness.
Facts.
That's why I turned over the leaf. To get God.
But how are we looking on time?
Oh, well, no.
9:58.
Yeah, we gotta get ready to do some real work. But, you know, we just want to give y'all a little something since we were on the fly. You know, doing a little something. Fellas, final thoughts before we get up out of here.
Well, my final thought
Ladies
is...
and gentlemen, we'll let y'all know.
Well, my final thought is be true to yourself. Always take your time out, say a prayer, and just, you know, be on your grind. You know, you're going to go through some ups and downs, some smiles and cries, but as long as you got dreams and aspirations and working towards what you're trying to build up in the future, everything's going to be all right. And shout out to all our affiliates and stuff like that. You know, Hilltop Ball 3, we're filming on Sunday. Friday and Saturday, I'm going to a BJJ summer camp with Chris Howder and Melissa Howder. Shout out to my coach, Jerry Wessel, and shout out to my boy, Danny Suarez, and everybody's involved. So, as always, I thank everybody for all your love and support.
Talk to them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the PVC Podcast Crew. A little bit of an unconventional one here with us, unintentional advertising.
Having a coconut smile, it's cool.
But today's topic was a little bit heavy, with a little bit of serious topics and whatnot, but I do want to reiterate that the fact is we are all human beings. Granted, fallen human beings with a fallen nature who are in desperate need of God on the daily, but still human beings. And you should never hate someone for something that they have no control over, such as race or their appearance, whatever it may be. The idea of a mixed-race couple, I would hope, never would disgust you, dear viewer. But if it does, I think you need to do some serious reflection on your life. I think you need to do some serious thinking. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings who are fallen in nature and are in desperate need of God. And thankfully, said God is available right here and right now to save those who are willing to listen to Him and obey His commands, believe in His Son, given their sins. It extends to you, it extends to all. The only reason you may not have it is you didn't take it. Damn.
All right, let me do this real quick. First and foremost, you know, kid turned 50. You know, kid getting old. You know, 50 Cent. I live to see 50 years, so I'm definitely appreciating that. First, yeah, man.
Wish happy birthday to me.
First of all, speaking of which, much love to everybody who wished me happy birthday and all that good stuff. You know, I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all doing that, of course. You know, because I had a lot of people, like, you know, reaching out to your boy, so I definitely appreciate all of that. Appreciate all the love, appreciate all the gifts, appreciate all that stuff. It's definitely an honor to receive all that stuff, because I know y'all didn't have to do it, but I definitely appreciate that first and foremost. Secondly, shout out to our affiliates, like always. Shout out to all 123 subscribers, of course. Appreciate each and every one of y'all rocking with us and rocking along. And for the ones who have not subscribed yet, even if you're just watching and crossing, we definitely appreciate y'all just taking the time to rock with the PVC Podcast Crew, of course.
I shout out to my boy Dirty Joe.
I got it. Don't worry. Like I said, I was trying to get to all my affiliates here. Shout out to World Heat Entertainment. Shout out to World Heat Entertainment, of course. We're going to be outside on Sunday, rocking along with them, getting Hilltop Brawl 3 up and running. So shout out to each and every person working on that project, of course. Like my man was about to jump into and say, shout out to my dog, Dirty Joe. We'll be outside for you in a couple of weeks as well. We got that project going on with his music video, so we'll be outside rocking along with him as well. So we got a lot of things working. Shout out to Centerline and, you know, all the people working with the BJJ with my boy Paul, of course. Shout out to all of y'all. Unfortunately, we won't be able to pull up outside for that one. We were trying to get outside for that as well, but we got a lot of things cooking right now. So besides all that, if y'all don't take anything else, definitely keep riding along with us. We got a lot of things cooking. We got a lot of things working. Yes. Y'all want to sit in the back of the classroom, I can sit in the back of the classroom, but I'm going to tell y'all going forward, y'all might want to sit in the front of the classroom, because the next time we start pulling up some content, you never know what's going to pop up. We may pop up on the TikTok Live next go round. We may pop up on the Instagram Live next go round. We got a lot of things working. We're going to jump back on our Twitch page pretty shortly as well. We're getting all that situated. So we got a lot of things working. But you know how we do. For my man Paul, for my man Vic, my name is Cam, a.k.a. Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky.
Like always, it is God above everything. Till the next time, family, we will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.